As a chef and a nutritionist, I often get asked, why do you think our nation is so sick? My answer, what do we do every day? We eat food. I live with illness and have used food to help me get well and feel better. So my goal here is to teach you to do the same. Eating healthfully does not have to be about Birkenstocks and dreadlocks. So chew on this. Hi, welcome to our second episode of Chew on This. Today I have a very special guest with me, Marilyn Behan.
Thank you.
And Marilyn and I met at LTV.
That's right.
Taking a producer's course here. And Marilyn is with us today to talk about a very, very important topic, and obscure food allergies. What's lurking in our food? Marilyn has a very interesting allergy that I'll let her tell you about.
Well, about 6 years ago, I had a reaction and half of my throat closed. One side of my tongue swelled, and once I got that under control, the other side swelled, and it went down through the rest of my body in a rash, in a raised hive. It took about 3 days for everything in my body to return normally.
And what were you eating when that happened?
Well, I was away on vacation in California, and I had a marinated steak and lobster, and probably a couple of glasses of wine. And then we had dessert, and we had a green salad with a wonderful bottled dressing.
So this came out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
You had never reacted before.
Never reacted this way before. So I got home. I went to about 4 allergists. First, I went to my home pediatrician, home doctor, and then I went to about 4 allergists. And my last one was a lady in the city at Lenox Hill Hospital, where I spent all day with her, and many tests, a lot of blood, a lot of x-rays, a lot of questions, a lot of discussions, and she had decided that, off the top of her head, Marilyn, no more sulfites for you.
Okay. So,
Marilyn, I don't even want you to take any pills unless you find out what glue holds them together. You know, I thought, oh God, this is ridiculous. Marilyn, this isn't me. For all of those years, I had been fine. I ate everything and enjoyed everything.
Right.
And now all of a sudden my world came crashing down. So I was very careful, probably for the next 4 or 5 weeks, and then I said,
did she tell you what sulfites are? Can you share with everyone what sulfites are?
Yes, well, sulfites are preservative, and they are in pretty much everything.
Right.
But she did not go into detail. Okay. She just said, Marilyn, no more sulfites.
Okay.
She mentioned a few things, wine, vinegar,
right,
things like that. We didn't go into detail the biosulfites and all of the other things, the dioxides.
She just gave you kind of a general
thing.
Sulfites.
She said, and come back to me in 6 months.
Okay, so what I want to talk about a little bit is sulfites. And sulfites, what's interesting is that they're naturally occurring, and they're also chemical compounds. Right. So they're naturally occurring in fermented foods. Okay, so they naturally occur in certain wines and beers, vinegars, relishes, anything that's aged, okay?
Right.
But they're also used as a preservative, chemical preservative. So we see it in baked goods. We see it on seafood, such as shrimp and lobster, dried fruit treated with sulfur dioxide.
Oh.
So
and that's the worst one.
It's terrible.
That's the worst one. I see mothers now letting their children eat the grapes at the supermarkets and things like that, and thinking, oh my gosh, those mothers don't know what's on that fruit.
Well, they used to spray fresh fruits and vegetables with sulfur dioxide. They really don't anymore, okay? But what we're looking at is sulfites are one of the top 9 allergens, okay? You can have a true allergy, or you can have an intolerance. Now, someone with an intolerance, you were asking me prior to the show, I just want to have a little ketchup. Can I have a little ketchup?
Yes.
Somebody with an intolerance can tolerate a little bit of it.
Right.
But it doesn't sound like you have an intolerance. It sounds like you have a full-blown allergy, which can lead into an anaphylaxis, which is scary. You have an EpiPen, right?
I do. I do
so
have an EpiPen.
what do you do when you have a reaction?
It depends on how severe the reaction is. If the reaction just takes over a rash, a hive that goes across my body, I treat it with prednisone.
Okay.
I'll start out with about 20 milligrams of prednisone, and then I'll wean myself off of that in 5 days. I'll go the next day, I'll do 10, and then I'll do 5 for 3 days. So to get off it as quickly as possible. I live on Benadryl, and yes, I have used my EpiPen twice, only when it involves my airways,
Okay.
my tongue,
Right.
my
so
throat.
this is a scary allergy to have. Okay. I'm
Yes, it
asthmatic,
is.
and I can't take any aspirin. I get an anaphylactic allergy to
Aspirin?
aspirin or all non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. And what they're called are progressive allergies, where the first reaction isn't that bad, and then the second gets a little worse, and then the third is even worse, and so on and so forth.
So over the last 6 years, it has gotten progressively worse, and if it hasn't gotten worse in the reaction has lasted longer. So I know it's changing, and I know I have to do something serious about it.
Okay,
I
so
do
you're
know
having
this.
an autoimmune response. And so when your autoimmune system is involved, it is a true allergy. So your autoimmune system it's basically your body fighting against itself.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what's going on with you. So what we really want to do here is we want to clarify what this sulfite allergy is, okay? What foods the sulfites are in, because they're really everywhere. It's not just sulfites. It's sodium, it's sulfur dioxide, sodium metabosulfite. Anything that has the word sulfite in it is something that you need to stay away from.
I've been fooling myself about that, but deep in my heart, I think I knew that. And now that you've told me to my face, it will make an imprint.
Well, I hope so. So some of the biggest challenges, we spoke briefly about this, some of the biggest challenges that you have with this allergy are, I would imagine, when you eat out and trying to buy packaged foods. So what have you done to navigate this situation so far?
Well, my eating out has curtailed. And when I do eat out, I try to eat locally. So I know most of the waitresses. I know the chef in the kitchen. And so I can say to the waitress, listen, go tell George that I'm allergic to sulfites and what's he got that I can eat tonight. My salad will be plain. Maybe I'll get a lemon and some oil.
Right.
But other than that, I have noticed that when I eat out, my food is rather bland. When I eat at home and I cook it myself, I can kick it up a notch with some little funky tricks that we're going to do later.
Right.
So, but that has changed. My eating out has changed. You know, that wonderful peppercorn steak that comes out of the kitchen and it's been marinated. It looks wonderful, and I can't have any of that.
No.
That portobello salad with the fried goat cheese and the drizzled balsamic vinegar dressing, I can't have that. I will take a taste, but that's about it.
Well,
I'm very careful with how much I intake on that.
yeah, and there's a big emotional repercussion of having an allergy like this, because you're living one way for a while, and then all of a sudden everything can change in a day.
It's drastic. It is drastic.
Right.
It even makes cooking at home a little more boring, because I find myself having the same things over and over again, and I look forward to doing something new. Today I had a turkey taco with kale, with apple juice, and it was outstanding. I think I can actually get that passed at home.
Good. So it's all about trying new things.
It is.
But when you get diagnosed with any kind of condition, whether it be an allergy or a chronic disease, you have to about face. And it's very hard when it involves food and you need to use food to help heal. Oftentimes we don't know what to do. So there's a paralysis that happens. So what I'm trying to do is give you more information, okay? So I'm going to give you the knowledge and some skills. So what we're going to do is work with some great marinades and dressings.
Great.
So I think that that's your biggest challenge, is knowing what to do with different ingredients to spice up your food, to flavor your food, to flavor your salads. And you're not going to be able to buy any of the condiments or, dressings or marinades.
No. You have to make them yourself.
You do.
I have found that out. and the reason why I decided to also come on the show, not to just educate me,
Right.
but to educate the public out there. They have to know what's in their food that they're feeding
Right.
their children. If all of a sudden, you've eaten everything you've wanted to eat for all of your life,
Right.
and now I can't eat it, it's a shock.
Yeah.
It's a shock to your system. It's a shock to your mental stability. Oh my God, nothing was more wonderful than a marinated steak or the hot dog from the man on the street.
Right. So,
So.
another thing that I just want to point out too is when you have a nutrition facts label on a product, okay, for example, you want to read the ingredient list. Everyone always says in the dietetics field, the focus is on the nutrition facts. So how much fat, how many calories.
I don't
okay?
even look at that anymore.
I pull away from that.
Yep.
I like to focus on the ingredient list itself.
Right.
So what's contained in the highest amount in that food is the first ingredient listed.
Right.
Know your ingredients, okay? Know what your preservatives are. I'll have some great resources on my website that people can go to. There's a fabulous link called Don't Eat That you can read about every ingredient in food, and you can download it. It's an app. But there are some great resources that I'll offer at stephaniesacks.com. And without further ado, we're going to jump into the kitchen to cook a few things, okay?
I want to do, but I just want to say one thing that I just
Yes.
learned. I went for my annual OBGYN checkup, and I spoke to my doctor. And of course, at my age, you should be taking a supplement,
Right.
calcium.
Mm-hmm.
So I cannot take the calcium tablets now because they have a sulfite in them. So they are looking for an injectable one that someone with my condition can take. So all of this
Right.
is very important information.
Well, and that's a great point, too, because we often find sulfites in a lot of drugs.
Oh, my goodness,
And,
yes.
And you really,
You don't even know that, though. You don't even know it.
You don't. So you really need to talk to your pharmacist. And there are pharmacists out there called compound pharmacists.
Mm-hmm.
And so what they can do is they can actually make a drug for you that's sulfite-free.
Wow.
Yeah. So there are a lot of children out there, or even adults, who are allergic to red dye number 40. That's another one. And that's in tons of medications. So
Okay.
those are some great tips, and we'll be back in a moment. Welcome back to Chew on This. This is our second episode, and my guest is Marilyn Behan today.
Thank you.
And we're in the kitchen ready to cook 4 different dishes in roughly 15 minutes. And our topic is what's lurking in your food, obscure food allergies. Marilyn has an allergy to sulfites, which are synthetic chemicals found in a lot of our food to preserve our food, or they're naturally occurring, such as anything that's fermented, like wines and beers and vinegars and pickles and relishes and so on and so forth. So we're here to do some dressings and marinades, some rubs, different things to flavor food in an amazing way so Marilyn doesn't have to feel deprived because there's so many different things that she just can't eat anymore. So
That's right. I can't wait, and I'm getting hungry.
All
So
right.
let's go.
So without further ado, we have got here a wild Alaskan salmon, and what I've done is rinsed it with lemon.
Yes, something that I had never seen before. And you did that because you said to me, you don't know who's touched it.
I don't know who's
you've
touched it.
cleaned it.
And what's amazing is that this woman, I learned this technique not in culinary school, but from this woman who was working with a friend of mine. And she's from the Philippines, and traditionally they always wash their fish and meats in salt and lemon.
Or the citrus, does it always have to be lemon?
It can be any, because the citrus is cleansing.
Right.
Okay, so that's what I did here, and then I patted it dry. And we have a fabulous rub here that's a combination of paprika curry powder. You can also use turmeric, onion powder, black pepper, and some salt. And so what this is going to do is it's going to be like a blackened salmon.
Okay.
Okay,
Now, do you do the bottom of the salmon as well as the top?
I'll rub the whole thing. Yeah.
You will.
Yep. Olive oil, please. Okay, so what I like to do when I cook, I don't like to use a lot of pots and pans. I like to keep it to a minimum.
Good
So if
cook.
I can just put the olive oil right on there, like so, and we're just going to rub it. All I'm doing is using the pan I'm going to cook it in, and then I put it right in here. So I'm coating it.
And both sides.
Both
Okay.
sides. I'm going to do the edges, okay, and put it right back in. There's our salmon.
Wow.
Very simple, okay?
That's easy.
And then I'm going to put it in the oven that's been preheated to 350, and we are going to bake that. Now, I like to make my recipes very simple and quick and easy, because that's the way you're going to get people to eat healthy food.
Takes less time in the kitchen too. You get
Exactly.
to spend more time with your guests.
Yes, you do. Or your family. So, okay, now Marilyn's going to make a creamy lemon mint dressing to go on our arugula avocado salad.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to use the Cuisinart food processor. You don't have to use this particular brand. There are multiple brands that you can use. I've always had a Cuisinart. We have orange juice right there. And you'll be able to see all of the recipes on the website, on the Chew on This Toolkit link at stephaniesacks.com. We've got olive oil here. I'm going to put that in. Perfect. Okay. Now, normally, people think of creamy dressings that they have some form of mayonnaise in them. You can also emulsify dressings, but we're actually going to use an avocado to make this dressing very creamy. There you go. It's half an avocado. And avocado has just so much, it's just packed with so many nutrients. So I love using avocados as much as I can. Perfect. And we've got our mint right there. You can throw that all in. Great. And the lemon press. Now, I think that what I often do is I just take a strainer instead of squeezing the lemon juice in another bowl. I just take a strainer and I go right in. So the strainer will catch the seeds. Perfect. Perfect. Wow, you're strong. How'd you get those muscles?
Big girl. 3 children.
3 children.
Fishing. I love fresh fish. Being that I come from Montauk, I have the freshest fish in the whole world.
Yes, and Marilyn actually brought me a little gift today. She made a fluke ceviche.
Fluke ceviche.
So it's
yes.
local Montauk fluke, and it's a ceviche. And ceviche is something great for Marilyn to eat because it's actually cured or aged with
citrus,
just with olive
lemon.
oil and lemon and salt.
No olive oil.
You didn't use olive oil.
I use a vegetable oil.
Or vegetable oil.
But I use lemon.
Perfect.
It's very easy. It's oregano and basil and crushed red pepper, a little salt and pepper, and some thyme.
Nice. Perfect.
Not the herb,
Right.
just the thyme.
Is there love in it?
Yes.
Great.
Big love.
Okay, so pull this out like that. Okay, it's going to get noisy for a minute. Let's hit that. Okay, and you can add the water if we need to. Okay, let's keep it going. Let's keep it going.
Just keeps it on.
Okay, let's see what that looks like. That looks pretty good to me. It's chunked out a little bit, so let's give it another. The avocado was a teeny bit tough, I think. And we can add a little bit of salt. Okay. I always say that the important thing to remember when you cook, and you probably feel the same way, is that we have to remember that we can always add more.
Yes, you can never take it back, but
Exactly.
you can always add more.
You can always add more. So let's give this a little taste. See how that is.
Mmm, delicious.
You tell me if it was awful.
Oh, I
right?
would. You know I would. Absolutely. Oh, that's lovely.
Okay, so here's a creamy dressing, and we will put that in there. Marilyn's going to rinse the Cuisinart, and I am going to jump on to a tahini dressing. So tahini is sesame seed butter, and just like we have peanut butter and we have almond butter, This is the butter that comes from sesame seeds, ground sesame seeds. It's filled with lots of nutrition. It's a great base for dressings. So this one is really simple. It's a nice alternative to Maryland. You can put it on salad. We're going to put it on some steamed broccoli that we have steamed over here in the pot. So I'm going to put roughly 1/4 cup of tahini in here. Okay, and again, I will put my trusty strainer and do the juice of half an orange and half a lemon. There we go. Okay, and then I've got some water because the consistency of tahini is quite thick, so we like to thin it out. Okay, and if you're doing a large amount of this, you can do it in a blender or in a Cuisinart, but all we're doing is whisking this, just like so. I'm whisking it quickly. Probably add a little bit more tahini to this. Oops.
And this is going to be for the rice?
This will be for the broccoli.
Oh, for the broccoli. Oh, my.
So it gets quite creamy, you can see.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
Oh, I think I put a little bit too much tahini in, so let's add a teeny bit more water. And so this ends up being more like a sauce. And you can even grill some chicken and dip some chicken in this. Okay, and put it over rice.
Okay.
So here's your tahini sauce. Very simple, takes nothing.
See
right?
that.
Now normally what I do is I make a tahini sauce that has tamari and mirin in it. But because of Marilyn's allergy to the sulfites, although these ingredients do not have added sulfites, they are fermented. So I don't want Marilyn to have a reaction on set here. Or a reaction at all.
My reactions are slow to happen. Once I have eaten something, it takes sometimes 5 to 6 hours.
Okay, so it's a
It's not
semi-delayed reaction. It's
it
not
is.
an immediate reaction.
Right.
But even so, we don't want Marilyn to get sick because what we're trying to do is make you well here.
That's true. We're trying to find out what's going to make me happy.
Exactly. So let's move this over here, and then we can try it with our broccoli thereafter. Now, this is one of my most favorite sauces. I have this wonderful client. He's a father of 2, and he loves food. And I did a cooking class with him in his home. And this was his most favorite sauce. He spent the entire cooking class pretty much eating what we made with this sauce.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
So here's our washed bunch of cilantro.
Yes.
Okay? All I do is I do that.
Perfect.
Okay, very simple. It's going in here. Okay? And then we've got our curry powder and our garlic. Curry powder and our crushed red pepper, which you can put in.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm going to smash our garlic, and we'll put our garlic in. Okay, and you want to take some olive oil.
Yes.
And all of these recipes will be on my site.
And how much do you think?
I'm going to go about 1/4 cup, but keep going, keep going, keep going. Go a little bit more. Okay, perfect.
3 times around.
Perfect. Okay. When I teach people how to cook, I don't like to follow recipes. I like you to let go and feel what we're doing. And then you can
Absolutely.
refer to the recipes after.
It's
So-
more fun.
Exactly.
And we're going to pulsate that till what? It becomes liquefied?
It's going to become like a pesto.
Oh, all right.
Okay?
Okay.
You can add a little salt to that right here. And you could probably add some more oil.
You want oil or water? Oil.
You don't want water. This is a thick.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay, I'm going to check on our salmon. Beautiful.
Can I open that and push that down?
You
Because
sure
some
can.
of the
Absolutely.
spices have gotten up to the side.
Absolutely. We have our, here we go. Great. Okay. You can spin that one more time, and then we can put it on
Yes.
our rice. And this is a long grain brown rice. I ideally prefer brown rice because it's less refined, or it's got more fiber, I should say, in it than white rice. So it's very healthy. Perfect. So now, this chimichurri is fabulous to marinate your steaks in. Okay? We were talking about steak earlier today.
Yes.
Okay, so to marinate steak in, chicken, fish, you can put it on pasta. Okay, so we'll just use that amount because I don't want to spice anybody out.
Interesting concept.
Yeah, so.
Do you mind if I put a finger
Oh,
in there?
please do.
I need to give you an opinion on that.
Please do. Spice you out?
Lovely.
You
I love the curry. I love curry. So I do make a butternut squash soup with curry.
Oh, that's delicious.
And so I like curry, so I'm a big curry fan.
That's great.
That's lovely.
Great. Marilyn likes it. Mikey likes it.
Mikey.
Okay.
Mikey will also eat anything.
Oh, gosh. I don't know how much does that say for me. So we can take our dressing and we can put it on our salad.
Okay.
As well.
This would be a good thing for St. Patrick's Day. It's very green.
It is very green. Oh, Marilyn, Marilyn, Marilyn. So we've got our rice. We've got our salad. Okay. We have our tahini dressing. So
Yes.
we've got our broccoli that we'll put on a plate. Great. And we can drizzle our tahini over that. So I steamed some broccoli. You can also roast it. Okay. Let's get this out of here.
How would you roast your broccoli? Just put it in an oven on a dry cookie sheet?
I toss it with olive oil and salt. That's how my kids love it, is roasted. Just with olive oil and salt, and it gets kind of crispy.
I don't think I've ever had roasted garlic, but it does sound interesting.
Yeah, roasting broccoli is great. Roasting any kind of vegetables.
Roasting garlic, I said. I meant
Garlic, yes.
broccoli. So
Great.
just drizzle it?
Yep, just drizzle it. So as we wrap up this show, it's our second episode. Thank you so much for tuning in to Chew on This, and we hope to bring you more very interesting shows that explore different health topics and how you can use food to help yourself feel better and get well. And Marilyn, have you learned anything today?
I did. I learned a marinade that I can't wait to try and go home and try that. I learned a new salad dressing. And I'll let you know about the tahini on the broccoli as soon as I taste that. But yeah, because I like my broccoli, but I generally just like it with a little garlic and all.
That's perfect. And everybody has their own likes and dislikes.
Yes. So this is new. This is really, this is going to be very interesting. Thank you.
Thank you for being
so
here.
much. I appreciate.
Thank you.
Appreciate the time you've taken
Thank you.
to educate me.